Good afternoon. Start with our usual, our quick evaluation of our last performance. Obviously, it was a discouraging performance, being our home opener, particularly starting the game the way that we started the game. Can't start games slowly. I thought we started the game slowly in all three phases. We got some 3 and outs there initially offensively. We lost the field position battle in the kicking game, but really we lost the field position battle throughout. But I thought that first big punt return, putting those guys on the short field, was significant. And then obviously we gave up some plays there early portions of the game defensively. I think they scored 21 points, I think, in our first 15 snaps. We gained some traction. We were able to get back in the football game. But largely throughout the game, at least particularly defensively, we weren't able to minimize some of the things that produced the outcome of the game, some chunk plays, if you will. In the kicking game, we never gained the type of traction that we needed in terms of splash. I thought we controlled the field positioning element of week 1. We didn't. In week 2, net punting had a lot to do with it. We missed some kicks. Obviously, I thought we gained traction offensively after the first couple series. We were able to move the ball fluidly, but when we didn't have traction in the other areas, you always felt like we were playing catch up. And so we weren't able to secure victory. We'll take those lessons. We did yesterday and analyze the video in a lot of ways, particularly on defense, particularly on special teams areas that I thought were critical in terms of the outcome of the game. But we're a team that's trying to grow and be consistent and varsity level consistency in all areas. And I think at this juncture in the season, I think that's probably what describes us if you're looking for a cumulative representation of where we are. We haven't won a game yet. We're looking for consistency in all 3 areas of our team, and it's popcorn. And usually that's the case when you're developing and you're trying to find traction. It's not one constant area that's below the line. It's usually popping up in a variety of areas. In week 1, I thought that ball security and the turnover element of play was the significant reason why we had issues in terms of securing victory. Last week, I thought field positioning and chunk plays. Field positioning in the form of special teams, net punting specifically, and chunk plays that were produced against us in a variety of ways defensively. If you look specifically at the chunk plays, it was a variety of people and concepts. We just got to keep working. We can't blink in the face of adversity. There's always going to be adversities in these journeys. We're starting in the face of some. You don't get to pick and choose oftentimes the adversity that you face, and when you face it, I know that you better respond to it appropriately. That's some of the things that we've been talking about as we prepare for this next game, is the response, not the reaction. Reaction is without thought at times. It's emotional, etc. We want to respond to the adversity that we're facing, and so we want to proceed with thought. We want to put together a good plan. Want to utilize guys in the right ways. In an effort to increase our chance for victory, and where we're going and when we're playing is significant. We're on the road. We're playing on primetime television on Monday night in Tampa. They're honoring Coach Dungy, a guy that I personally got a great deal of respect for. So you can anticipate the type of environment that our football team is going into. One that we can't shy away from, one that I'm excited about, to be quite honest with you. I think all of us that are competitors in this business, you get fired up about staring adversity in the face, and particularly adversity that you've created coupled with the natural adversity that the game of football provides all of us over the course of these journeys that we're on. So I'm excited about getting started. We're in the process of doing that. We got some work to do, so obviously we don't hate the extra day preparation. If you look at Tampa, and I'll talk about them some, you'll see what I'm talking about in reference to that. I think they're playing really good football. And let's start off first with their offense. Fitz, I think, is leading the league in passing. He's got some explosive weapons. He's stepping in for Winston, but, Fitz is not a step-in guy. This guy started in multiple cities. We've seen him some extensively in Cincinnati and Buffalo. He's a smart guy, Ivy League educated, has always made good decisions. That's why he's been able to sustain himself and play for the length of time that he's played. He's playing really well right now in the environment that he's playing in. He's got some nice weapons. Starts with Mike Evans, first rounder, big ex-receiver type, makes good combat catches, physical in the run game. He's got a very complete game. Physicality is an element of his play. He's big, but he also plays big. Deshaun Jackson can take the top off. He has always been a big play guy, man. He's probably 10 years in or so now. This guy has been at the forefront of that area with guys like Mike Wallace and others, man, since he's been in the league. He's always capable of doing that. They got a quality tight end they drafted out of Alabama in O.J. Howard, who's produced some splash, who's big play capable. They're capable of displacing him from the formation and attacking you vertically. They've spread some people out. They've controlled games. They got a complement of backs, guys that they're utilizing. I know they lost a back, their featured back in the offseason, but I like what's transpired with the other guys. They got a nice division of labor there. They got talent up front. They do a great job. They acquired a center from Baltimore. They were able to move Marpet to guard. I think that's really solidified them. Inside, they got good quality tackles, one of them being Donovan Smith, a Penn Stater. We looked at a couple years ago when he came out. Really quality players on offense, producing chunks. Those chunks are producing points. As we prepare for them, obviously, we got to play a solid, complete game. But given their two-game resume in terms of the big plays that they've been able to produce and what's happened with us in the last stadium that we've been in, obviously working to minimize chunk plays is a significant element of preparation and quality play for us. On the defensive side of the ball, man, really it's about some high-level people and some acquisitions. Jason Pierre-Paul is a quality end, has been for a long time, a guy that sets a really good edge, does an awesome job in the run game, really does a great job of breaking the pocket down versus the play pass. In the passing game in general, they're employing him some inside and sub. So you couple him with Warren inside, man, what a formidable tandem they are. Warren is Warren. He's a perennial Pro Bowl-like guy whose problems from a matchup standpoint for guards. They play a lot of people like a lot of four-down teams do in terms of their rushman rotation. They get quality contributions from a lot of people. Will Ghost in Michigan State, or worthy Michigan Stater. They picked up Carl Nassib from Cleveland. We were preparing to play him a couple weeks ago. He's got into the fold quickly over there and providing some quality snaps for him. Regular 4-3 type things, quality rushman, deep group there. At the linebacker level, can't say enough about they're all situations players. Quan Alexander, Levante David, they basically play all downs. They're versatile. They're knowledgeable. They read and diagnose extremely quickly. They're rangy. Speed guys. Had an opportunity to look at Quan down there in Orlando at the Pro Bowl and watch him work. This is a guy that can cover a lot of grass on the football field, vertically and horizontally. They're a run-and-hit group. They've gotten the lead. They produced some big plays that's allowed them to pin their ears back and cover ground with those second-level defenders I talked about, rush the passer with those four-man rush group I've talked about, and consequently they've produced a lot of splash, some turnovers. They've caused fumbles. They've been able to control the game from that aspect as well. Scoop and score, if you will. So we got a lot of things to stimulate us, man, as we start this week's prep. On the injury front, we got a couple things to manage and watch. A couple of existing injuries. DeCastro's got a chance as he works his way back with his hand. We'll watch his participation during the week. Alou, same thing as he works his way back from his shoulder. Got a couple new ones to manage and watch. Gilbert with a hamstring, and Ramon Foster is managing the knee. We'll watch those guys through the week and see how they go. I didn't mention Joe Hayden. He had a good week rehabilitation. We're anticipating him working, but again, we'll let the result of that work and the quality of that work be our guide in terms of determining his availability. I'd be happy to address any questions you might have.
Coach, you've acknowledged that this is now a passing league. You seem to have addressed this through hybrid linebackers to cover running backs tight ends, your safety strong, but yet you got lit up by Jacksonville for 45. McCombs comes in for 6. Is it time to think about the scheme that you're playing, or is it the way you're using your personnel?
You know, I'm not ready to paint with a broad brush. You know, really I'm focused on this group this year. I acknowledge that that's been an issue in the past. It was an issue last week. I'm really focused on what's going on in terms of the work that we've put in as a staff, in terms of acknowledging and responding to that, coupled with the personnel that we have now. Last week can't be a representation of us in that regard. Hopefully it's not. We look forward to working this week to prove that. I know that we're faced with a formidable challenge in the form of Fitz and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that's going to allow us to maybe bear that out.
Was communication in the secondary a large part of the problem?
You know, it was some technical, it was some communication. It was popcorn, to be quite honest, which is really what I described earlier. It was not one particular guy. It was not one particular scheme or concept. Really, it occurred in a variety of ways and a variety of circumstance, which is obviously not acceptable.
We hear a lot about Steeler decisions and Steeler plays. But do you make the calls down and down on defense?
I do not, no.
All right, anyone else?
Mike, what was your reaction to Antonio Brown tweeting to a former employee that he criticized his place of trade and he wouldn't find out?
You know, again, like I said last week, I'm not going to openly talk about a lot of things that occur in social media. You could be chasing that always. I will say this, it's important that we understand our position, the light that shined on us and the responsibility that comes with it. There's been a couple of instances now where you've asked me about Antonio regarding some social media-like things. I'll address that and address that very directly with him, but I'll leave that between he and I. I'm not going to utilize this forum to address such things. I just don't believe it's appropriate. I think that this forum is a very professional one. We got a lot of football things to talk about. You know, performance, personnel, opportunities, challenges that the game of football presents. I always want to take that road when I'm standing in front of this podium representing this league. That's just how I choose to approach it.
Mike, was he here yesterday?
He was not. No, I'm looking forward to visiting with him today and discussing that and some other things. I'm not going to get into the details of why he wasn't here or whether he was excused and all of those things. I just assume leave those things in-house. I understand sometimes you got some negativity. You know, we lost a football game. There were some negative exchanges on the sideline. There's frustration associated with not playing well and not winning. I understand all that. There's opportunities for us to respond to it, particularly the early portions of the year, to utilize negative experiences and things that occur to educate our team at this point in the journey so that it becomes a non-factor as we move forward. That's generally the approach that we take in non-football related things such as social media, decorum, and et cetera. So hopefully that'll be the last time I'll be discussing things such as that in this setting.
Mike, there was at least one time where social media decorum got in the way of football where you had to suspend Martavis for something.
Yeah, but that was very different. That was player among player. That's player relations. I'm not getting into what happens in that gray atmosphere out there among people where there's very little accountability and things of that nature. I'm just, you know, that's just not